everyone, so you're welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's your girl Adaeze, darling. Thank you guys so much for joining. If this is the first time you're coming across this channel, please consider subscribing and giving us a big fat thumbs up. And to my OGs, comment down below, right, gang, so I know that you are an OG. Welcome back. Now this is the most requested video. Like, I am not even joking. My pregnancy story, my pregnancy journey is one of the most requested, because I keep hinting, I keep telling you people that that story, that journey, it was not easy. So a lot of people have been asking us to do a story time, and I'm like, yes, I will. Anyways, the truth is, the real reason I didn't want to talk about it, like, for the longest time, my son is going to be turning 3 in a couple of days, and on Thursday, I'm shooting this on Sunday. I don't know, like, anytime I try to film it, I get emotional, and I don't want to get emotional because this is like a testimony. Right now, as I'm narrating it, I want it to be more of a joyful testimony of the things I have gone through, and I don't want it to be like a sorry thing. And, you know, anytime I get moody and I think of it, I just want to say thank God. So if you want to hear more about that, please keep on watching.
My name is Asitonka Agri Abba, and channel is called Adaeze Darling because I'm such a darling.
So let me start from the beginning. I got married May 24th, 2015, and my TTC journey, I think the moment I got married, I started my company, and I've told you guys I wasn't like pushing to get pregnant immediately because I wanted to build my company. So it took me a year and 6 months before I started looking for treatment, like going to OBGYNs, going for tests and all of that. If you want to hear more about my TTC journey, please check out the video I did with Adaeze Space. I'm going to link those videos down below, where we talked about our infertility journey and all of that. Please go and watch those videos. You hear the test I took, HSG. In fact, let me just stop there. Just go and watch those videos and you can relate properly. During my TTC journey, I wanted to be in a zen state. I'm not very much of an emotional person. I didn't really cry. Hey, God, give me a child, let me be crying. I didn't really cry. I was just more like, is this thing going to happen? It's not going to happen, you know? Thug life. Like, I was getting moody. It wasn't so much of, I don't know how to explain it. Like, if you have not been in that position, you won't know. I was not like the crying TTC woman that if I take a test and it's negative, I start crying. I don't cry. I just be like, whatever, you know? And when I started treatments, I found out that, okay, they were saying my hormone was not, I was having hormonal imbalance, which everybody has hormonal imbalance. You're thinking too much, you're stressed. So I figured, okay, maybe it's work. Forgive, somebody has just put on generator. So I thought maybe it's work. And I decided to pick up a candle, like a candle, stress relief candle, eucalyptus from Bath and Body Works, and I picked it up from this brand. So they sent me this journal. So I just decided, you know what, let me be writing my experience with all the treatments I've been going for. So I just found it after some days, and it got me emotional because I was writing, like, see, today's entry I wrote numb, distance, that's how I feel. I actually have nothing to say. That's what I've been writing in the book. So I went online. One of the things that helped me through my TTC journey was online forums and all of that. You see different people going through it. I didn't really talk much to my friends. I prefer to keep things to myself. So I went online and I googled the best fertility doctor in Nigeria through Nairaland or something like that. Different names were popping up, but I decided to go with Dr. Emeka Olive Branch. He does everything from the normal medication to, if you're going to the end of the spectrum, surrogacy and the rest. He does everything. So basically I decided I want to go and see him. I did not want to go through OBGYN, do small tests. I just wanted to go to the best once and for all. Let me know if I can have a child or I cannot have it. Me, I don't have strength to be going up and down. I now went to see him. I saw him December 8th. All the treatments were really fantastic, and their hospital, you know, one of the big things for me, for the hospital, is it has to be clean. Your nurses have to be smiling. If you're not smiling, see, the one that brought me to your hospital is big enough. You had better be shining your teeth. Because I don't even want to, you know, that was just the kind of person I was throughout this. If I get into your hospital and I feel one nurse is giving me attitude, you're going to walk out of my ward. I wanted to protect my space, my energy. No frowning nurse was allowed to give me IV injection or anything. I'll tell the doctor from day one. Then after, because I did HSG, I told the doctor from day one, I don't like pain. If anything pains me in this hospital, I will so shout. People will think you're killing somebody. So basically, I had a good experience with them. Sorry, I wrote some of these things down because I started forgetting. So thank God I'm doing this video. February 5th, I woke up and I was feeling a type of way. I had this predict pregnancy test. You know, when you're TTC, you have pregnancy tests lying everywhere because sometimes your menstrual cycle will come so late and you'll be like, yay, it has happened. As you're going to buy the test, you start feeling it. Anyway, so I woke up on the 5th of January. No, 5th of February. I was feeling a type of way. I checked, it was negative. It's like, I beg, let me just go and sleep. Few days later, on the 7th, I was passing every day. I was like, hey, let me buy another pregnancy test. I finished my other pregnancy test. And I went to buy Clear Blue. Like, you get negative from a 900 naira test. You decide, okay, the one that is 5,005 will say the truth. So I bought it and I just kept it. I woke up that night, I was feeling bloated and somehow I took the test. The moment I took the test, before the control line will show, I just saw pregnancy line. Like, it was so dark because it was in the night and I took my phone, I just went in. As I put it in, as I raised it with my sleepy eyes, I saw it. I was like, thank God. I put it back, came back and laid down. I didn't tell my husband because I told him that I'm feeling somehow. He was like, okay, let's go and do blood tests so we know if you have malaria, typhoid or anything. In fact, just do blood tests. So I decided to surprise him. I got a customized perfume from Mystic Perfumery. I think right now her name is Catherine Omai. She had to write like a customized note. You know, the perfume lady that sent perfumes to Big Brother house, yes, her name was Mystic Perfumery then. So she did a customized note just as she did for the Big Brother people. And then that was where I announced, okay, we're pregnant and everything, because after my blood test came, I got it. He had traveled, so he didn't see my blood test. Okay, now pregnancy. This is where the real journey starts. After announcing I was pregnant, the next day I woke up with one severe back pain. Guys, I don't know how to explain the pain. I wanted to make this video such that like you're hearing it but you're not feeling the kind of pain I was, because nobody needs to feel that severe back pain. So let me just be reading through my book because I took from my diary and everything. My first hospital visit was for severe back pain. I was weak. I just had, and they were suspecting, okay, is it my kidneys, you know? This was a mess. They say it's not back, it's lower flack, a flack or something. So by the 16th of February, I woke up, I was vomiting. I was very weak. I was like dizzy. So I would stand up, I would vomit. And you know this feeling, some of us that have very strong spirits, you know when you want to die. The time you want to die is not like, oh my God, I want to die. It's almost like, just sleep, just lie down, just close your eye. You know those kind of temptations. Sorry, rain is falling. So in case you're hearing any noise, you know that kind of temptation. I just told my husband, I need to go to the hospital. My husband now carried me. As we reached the hospital now, okay, I walked in and they were supposed to take my blood pressure. One nurse was taking blood pressure. She was not writing anything. She would bring another machine, 3 different machines. So in my mind, I just looked at it and I was like, what kind of learner, student, nurse is this one? She now said, okay, move to the doctor's, the consultant's ward. Let her check your blood pressure herself. Like, the consultant to check blood pressure. The moment she checked my blood pressure, she just said, madam, please lie down. They brought drip, 500 mils. The way that drip finished, I was like, what's happening? I just decided to eavesdrop. So when the door opened and she was talking with my husband, she was like, we have to admit her, set the bed, get a bed, call this doctor, bring another drip bag, I'm like, okay. What is happening? They say my blood pressure was 60/40. That's just all I have to say. I walked into the hospital with a blood pressure of 60/40. It was so low. The nurse could not read it. So it's not like she was a learner. It wasn't showing on any of those equipments. I had very faint pulse, like it was a mess. It almost seemed like my body was shutting down. If you have gotten to this point, let me backtrack a little. So let's talk about, at this point, I'm newly pregnant though. I've not done scan. It's just blood test and what they call the pregnancy whatever that has shown that I'm pregnant. So at any time, of course, it was never a point of save the baby, because it had not gotten to the baby point. They just knew I was pregnant, so the treatment was just a bit mild and all of that, and I was in severe pain. I don't even want to think of it. I don't even want to remember it, but this was still early. That's 16th of February. By the 18th, I woke up. My diary is saying I woke up with the worst pain ever. This is a pain that I cannot even explain. They are suspecting kidney stones, and we are still waiting for approval so I can start strong medication. My baby might not survive. So by this time, the pain was, I've been admitted, of course. The pain was very high. Like, I was on penta and paracetamol injections. I was on, listen to this word, you see penta, if you're a medical doctor, you know the drug penta. Through my pregnancy journey, I was always on. In fact, it got to a point doctors had to stop giving me penta, because it almost seemed like there's a certain pain I get to if I don't take penta. So I know that drug is very addictive. So I got there, they now approved. They called my doctor from Lagos and was like, different doctors, because I did the normal OBGYN. So CEO want to start giving her so drugs, and they said, okay, no problem, you can give her. I started getting better. They now finally discharged me, and I was supposed to go for my first scan. Why? Because through all this, I've been in the hospital, I've been taking different medications, and the doctors needed for me to go for scan. So I went for scan a week after that, and that was my first scan. At my first scan, the doctor that attended to me just saw me. Okay, I went with my mom. They just checked. Congratulations, ma. You're pregnant. They just checked. Okay, you have a baby here. I saw one baby. It showed heartbeat, ping, 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 ping. I was like, oh, thank God, thank God. And then, initially when I went for the scan, was just my doctor in Lagos was not around. So he came back from where he traveled to and was like, come to Lagos, let me see you. I've not seen you since you went. You had all those medical emergencies. What happened? And that's the good thing with that hospital. They like follow up. I went back and he was like, okay, let me do a scan. And he did the scan. He just went like this. He just saw another baby. He was like, you said you have one. I said, yes, they said I have one. He said you have twins. Guys, like, I said I have what? I said you're expecting twins. Like, see the other baby here. I'm going to see if I will attach my scan of Micah and the other twin. So he just checked it. It was like, you're having twins, but the second baby is running behind. I'm like, running behind how? He said, okay, the first one was measuring 8 weeks 2 days as at the time I went, and the second baby was measuring 7 weeks 4 days. It's not unusual for babies to be measuring like few days apart, but it was like the heartbeat, the cardiovascular activity is not as strong. He cannot detect the heartbeats as much as he can on the other twin, because it was like boom, 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 boom. The other one was not showing yet. So he said, okay, take some drugs, rest, and come back so week and check again. Man, I don't see, seriously, I didn't want to do this video. This is one of the toughest videos. Okay, came back. I think I came back after a week. I came back after a week, and then he was like, the first baby is still growing, meeting up milestones, but right now we cannot detect any cardiovascular activity. And by this time, Micah was about 2 weeks, was almost getting to 2 weeks further than the other twin. I did not bleed. I did not have a miscarriage. I just saw that one twin was just getting big and the other one was just there. And I don't know. That was painful, Sha. That was painful. It was like, you know what, just have faith, this other baby is there for you, strong. So this is my theory, and this is the theory of some doctors. My body now started shutting down. after the other twin slept, my body started shutting down. Almost like, you know how the body wants to expel, okay, there's a sleeping baby, I want to expel the baby. But then there's another baby that is alive and needs all the nutrients, needs your body to be up and going. And so there was like a clash. Another doctor feels that my body was treating my pregnancy as an antibody. When I say there was a clash, I mean every single thing that could go wrong in somebody's body was going wrong with my body. By March 29th, this was a day before my birthday, I had severe stomach pain. I had to be admitted for the 3rd time. This is all in the first trimester. March 29th, I just found out I was pregnant last month. By the time I got there, they said, okay, where's the pain? Put her on Penta, put her on Penta. I was on Penta, he was not going. They called the doctor. My doctor in Lagos called his friend that is in Port Harcourt here. I was at Paragon. They got different types of things. In fact, when he now checked, he now said, my appendix is inflamed. The pain was at this side. And he was like, you know what, he has to call a doctor that has retired. You have to call him from retirement because my case, there's a baby there. And for this appendectomy, they have to be very careful and all of that. So the doctor came, and on my birthday, I don't know if I will add, I think I'll add a picture. On my birthday, that was when I knew that I was going to go for surgery the next day. All those times I had that, I think I had my first minor procedure when I had the low blood pressure. I was awake, it was just a small cut. You see all of my pictures. But this was the first major operation, that's the appendicitis, the appendectomy. And I don't like talking about it. Anyway, so being in secondary school, a lot of people have done appendix operation, but I was going to be doing this while pregnant. I went in the next day, he said 4 o'clock, they paid, and I went in. This was my first experience with the theater. Theaters are so white. All the knives and daggers and cutlass and shovel was just everywhere. Everything that you'd be like, wait, clean, sterilize, this. And then they did spinal block. You know, they put the injection through your spine so that you're half awake, so that it paralyzes waist down. That's the first time I found out that spinal block doesn't work for me. Which is strange. If you're a doctor, let me know in the comment section below why. And if you have had patients that spinal block doesn't work for. Because when they did it, they're like, Mrs. Abba, raise your leg. And I'm still raising my leg. And the anesthesiologist was like, she needs to put me under. Like, I have to go on GA to sleep, basically. And I was like, better, because I don't want to be awake and see you tearing my stomach. Anyways, they put me under, and the next time I woke up, they had already taken out the appendix, and they showed my husband, they showed my mom. It was almost rupturing. If he had ruptured, I'd have lost the baby immediately, because they would have put a drain, and there's no way I'd have lost the baby. You know, before going for this appendix operation, they would tell your husband to sign, which one do you want to be alive, baby or wife? You will sign wife now. I will be shouting there, I want my baby, I don't have strength, because God knows, if I lost the two, nobody will use mouth and tell me, I see what of it, I will slap you. Anyways, I was in a different space, basically. After doing the appendix operation, the next day, when the GA cleared, they sent me to scan, because after every surgery, they have to send you to go and check if the baby is alive. So they now checked, swab, and of course, Micah, strong boy, you just be hearing bing, 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 like his heartbeat was always on point. It was never his heartbeat is faint. The guy was still, I was like, thank God. So the baby was there. The funny thing is, the guy that was doing the scan, I think that one is Elena, because all the tube, they should go and check all the gel, you know that scan gel they rub on you, my dear. He almost rubbed it to my throat. Like, I said, what is happening now? Just to check here. It's almost like I was so greasy coming out of that scan room. I know this is just my way of diverting so that I don't get too emotional. So I was booked for antenatal. Let me see the dates. 2 weeks after that, I booked for antenatal. And the antenatal, I started my antenatal at Prime Medical in Port Harcourt here. I called my friend that has used the place. She told me her doctor. The doctor is a pastor. I said, better, because this my case is like, it's looking spiritual. I called him. Before I even registered for antenatal, I went to meet him in his hospital. Told him my medical reports. See what I've gone through. See what I've gone through. See when I want to give. And he was like, oh, if you have done appendicitis, appendectomy, I don't really think I would want you to push. I would want to do a scheduled CS. I was like, eh. You can imagine, I had not even started. I was almost entering my second trimester. I had not started. Let's say by this time it was like 13 weeks or so. That's when I was hearing that I will not push. This information is important. Anyways, I was like, oh, anyhow you want to do, just bring this child out alive. So when he spoke and I was very convinced, I now registered with Prime. 4 days. Is it up to 4 days or 3 days? Because, my dear, let's just say 3 days. Yeah, I wrote it here. 3 days later, I've been rushed into the hospital. I woke up in the night and I was having a bubbling feeling in my chest. This pain was every 60 seconds, every 1 minute. I would receive, the pain was so sharp. I don't know how to explain it now. The pain was so sharp. It was in my chest. I have to hold something so tight. I would start feeling like, you know, like how Coke used to bubble. It was bad. They rushed me to the hospital. The owner of Prime, all the consultants, all the surgeons. My ward was almost like a class, a medical class, because the number of people, the number of doctors that entered, and they basically put me to sit down, because when they rushed me to the hospital, I was always on wheelchair. I couldn't bend, I couldn't stand up straight. This was from the last surgery. I was still a bit bent because of my appendectomy. And then they just told me to sit back like this, and then they were standing. You would see through like you would literally see through here when the bubbling thing starts. You know, other doctors, when they come in through this journey, yes, I cry, oh, yes, when I'm in pain, I cry, but when it comes to wailing, this doctor is crude. He's good, but he was very crude. He just looked at me. When they called the main surgeon that was going to operate, I didn't know it was an operation. He just looked at me and was like, look at what I just did. Like, we'll cut her open. His hand just, the moment his hand came down in this, you know, someone did hand like this. We'll cut her open. I just started crying. At that point, I just broke down. I knew, hey, Asi, you might actually die. That was the first thought that came to my mind. You might actually die. At this point, I just started shouting. I heard my mom, you know, my sister had called her. She was screaming. Another one, because from birth, I'm not a sick child. I was never admitted in hospital, like, unless it's malaria or something very useless. So having to do back-to-back surgery with pregnancy was almost like, what is happening? And that's why I said, one part of the body was trying to expel the baby. Another part is trying to raise whatever it wants to raise for the one that is still pushing. So I still did not bleed. I didn't miscarry. When I went for all my scans, I still saw the other twin B, very much complete in everything. But you see, Micah was a lot bigger. So he just said we're going to do X-lap. That was the first time I heard the word X-lap. Basically, it's exploratory laparotomy. I'm going to write it so you can Google it. They actually perform this when they need to open your entire abdomen to find out what's wrong. They don't know what's going on, so they had to open. That's that long scar you people see on my stomach, and my baby was still there. So they had to open it up, and they brought out a very big mass. Petri dishes and the bowls in the theater could not take it. My husband had to go and buy a takeaway plates. You know those plates that are like this, for it to enter. And basically that was just it. I did not know the extent to which this surgery was, but when I woke up, I had a tube is it NG or ND tube down my nose, from my nose through my throat, through the back of my throat to my stomach. And what that was doing was bringing out green fluid, so it was coming out through the tube of my nose. I had a bag. I also had a drain to my right, and then I had a massive plaster. When I woke up, my stomach, the plaster was massive. I didn't really know how they cut, or because I had checked Google and I saw, like, the moment I opened Google and I saw what XLAP was, I knew that I don't have a before of my stomach, because I'm a very conservative person. I never had those pictures. But then I'm going to try to put pictures of my stomach immediately they opened it. As I saw it, the first thing I shouted, like, I don't have a navel. Where is my navel? I don't have, because just around my navel, I think I had 4 to 6 stitches, and then from top to bottom, let's say 20 something to 30 stitches. Just chick. It was like thread. it was bad. And then I had like all my stomach. And so the moment I came through, when they opened it, because they bandaged it so tight, the moment I woke up, as I drank water, it was almost like my stomach was stretching the plaster. It was the worst kind of pain ever. And after all these surgeries, I have to stand up and walk so that I do not have blood clots. And I walk with my drip bag. I walk with everything I carry, and I move. And the moment I was able, they now came back, brought a wheelchair, and took me for scan to check if my baby was still alive. So it was at the 13th. By this time, I think it was 15th week. I will write it if I'm wrong. I went there, and because the plaster was so big, they said just find a way to check. Let us know if the baby is still there. And the guy was just, where did they keep for me to check this thing? And as he just put it, he just started, he just showed, and baby M was there. He put it, was like, it was like God. He looked at me, was like, Madam, you serve a living God. Your baby is still alive. See the baby kicking, see the baby there. And that was the first time he just said, you know what? This baby has suffered and survived a lot of things. Let me check the gender. So I knew my baby's gender from 15 weeks. He just checked, zoomed in, was like, you're having a boy. This boy is strong. That was all he said. And he now moved to the side and was like, Madam, did you have were they twins? And I was like, yes. I was like, I still see the other one is still here. So you didn't really? I said, no, I didn't. And the baby is still there. And I was like, just don't worry, this one will be strong for you, and all those things. So I came back. Just hold on, please, hold on. Anyways, the next eventful thing was when they needed to remove my stitches. The day they wanted to remove my appendicitis, my appendectomy stitches, I acted thin. I was basically a mess. I was screaming and all of that. But as I looked at this number of stitches on my stomach, I was like, are you sure I will not die? I don't think I can take this pain for them to manually remove one after the other. So what the lady did was she gave me diclofenac. Most of you will know diclofenac. They take it annually. She gave me diclofenac 30 minutes before to help with the pain. I would say it helped because I didn't scream, but I was just like throughout. And my friend Thelma was there trying to hold my hand because the pain, the stitches, as it was coming out with flesh. In fact, I don't want to go into gory details because I look back and I'm like, man, that is why I don't joke with my son. Even the school I went to put him, I told them, I don't joke with this one. I'm not saying every other person's child is not special, but you see my own. Basically, through all my surgeries, so in total I had 3 procedures. The first one was when I was very small. I think they needed to put a drain. The second one was my appendectomy. The third one was the X-lap. So in another video, I'm going to be talking about my delivery story, because that is another story. My delivery, bringing him forth, and all the miracles. Because the moment he came out, it almost seemed like everybody was in a hurry to bless him. So through all of this, I wrote something down. I said, I'm grateful to God. I'm grateful to God for life. I'm grateful to my parents for being strong. Because sometimes I just wake up, I see my mom, trust her now, she's crying. My dad would just be he was in the hospital every single day, just sitting down, helping me to sit up, helping me to move left or move right, because I was in so much pain. I was walking like this for a long time. I was not straight, I was bent. I walked at an angle. I was walking basically, I don't want to remember that. I'm grateful to my husband for all the support. Like, most times you don't understand the kind of fear sometimes that people go through. I think I cannot even say, I don't know if I'll do a video. Just let me know your thoughts in the comment section. If I should do a video where I practically ask, maybe I'll try to see if I can get my dad or my mom or my husband or my friends to talk about like what was their own experience, because most of the time I wasn't even conscious. I was in coma, and they were the ones experiencing all the emotions. Sometimes, like when I was doing the X-lap, I had a wedding, and I basically told the client, I said, I'm going to be with you 4 o'clock on Saturday. They were coming in from London, Lavier couple, fantastic people. I'd never seen them. Most of my clients, I never meet them. And I had an emergency the next day, and guess what? The surgeon came in and said 4 o'clock on Saturday, that's when you're going into the theater. So when people say I will see you by the grace of God, it's not cliche. I booked a meeting, and I called my sister and I called my brother-in-law. I was telling them, go and make that meeting. I'm grateful let me just continue. I'm grateful to my husband. You don't want to know how much we spend. Most times it's just good. That's why I say my baby is a designer baby. It's an expensive child. Like, you don't want to know how much we spent from the beginning till the end. Like, it was a lot. I'm grateful to my siblings. Yeah. So basically, my sister was working in Abuja that period. She stopped work. She was with me for 6 whole months. 6 whole months. 6 whole months, from January to even when she wanted to go back, before you know, they're rushing me to the hospital. She had to be, sometimes she would sleep on the floor, and that was why I now said, I told some people, I said, if you're going to the hospital and you're probably going to be admitted, God forbid, it's better to take a semi-private room and pay for the 2 beds than a private room, because whoever is staying with you might have to sleep on the floor and it's not comfortable. It's not a good thing that I have to know all these things because I've been in the hospital for too long. But so and Peter, my brother-in-law Peter, was always, they were the ones managing my business, so to speak, because I had lots of clients. I had clients that of course asked for refunds because I'm sure they didn't think I was sick enough. I'm grateful to be alive. I'm grateful for friends. My friend Thelma was, sometimes the time that Soso has to go to manage my business, Thelma will come and take over. She'll be with me. Like when they were going to remove my stitches the last day, Thelma was the one with me. She slept too. In fact, it got so bad. Thelma, that is supposed to be holding my hand, she started vomiting. She ran into the bathroom. The nurse was like, are you pregnant? She was literally seeing the flesh coming out with the stitch. So I think it was very gory. I'm grateful for Rizichi. Okay, that was one of my friends. Like, Rizichi and I went to the same secondary school. Funny enough, throughout my 6 years in school, I never said A to Rizichi because I don't know. He says he used to hate me then. I just didn't talk to a lot of people, but I was the senior prefect, and through this, our alumni were very close. But when I was ill, I got to see like the power of friendship. I had a lot of them come to the hospital at different times, but Rizichi was someone that His dad was also sick. He had to do vigil, like stay with his dad through the night. After he leaves UPTH, he will come to Paragon. Sometimes when I come out of unconsciousness, I'll see my dad, I'll see Rizichi, I'll see Soso. They're just sitting, maybe talking, just trying to be sure that I at least let me be hearing familiar voices or something. I'm grateful to my kids. I'm grateful to my kids. I still say my kids because I'm just grateful that I'm grateful you chose me. I'm grateful to my son Micah for being strong. Because if I wasn't hearing my wait. I wasn't hearing Micah's heartbeat, I don't think I would have continued. Like, there are many times, you know, even after I did the X lab, there was one night I woke up and I had the same symptoms. Like, it was so bad. I don't know why I'm still crying. It was so bad. I basically tapped my husband and I said, if you know how to pray, better pray, because if they operate on me again, I'm going to die. That was all I said before I slept off. My husband was praying through the night till I woke up. I didn't feel the pain again. Throughout my pregnancy, it just seemed like I was fighting something. I was fighting something like, it just seemed like I was fighting, like my body was shutting down. And the moment I was done with first trimester, there was a time I looked at my scars, like my scars were fading. I started crying. I was like, God, I don't want my scar to fade. I'm going to forget. What if I forget? I don't want to forget. I don't want to forget like I almost died. No, I don't want to forget. It was something else. Most times I really don't like to share so much of this journey because I just feel like, personally, I'm sure if you've followed me through YouTube, you know that I'm someone that I like to keep private things private, but I've been owing you people this story of all my surgeries. I know I will not go in depth to say how the blood came out and all of that, but it was tough. So you can only imagine what I was going through up here. But one thing I realized is when you're about to die, many things become clear. That's the truth. Many things become clear. I was the kind of child that I used to have convulsions, so growing up, serious ones, like I'll be foaming from my mouth, serious convulsions. And when I've said my last prayer a lot of times, so this particular surgery and this period just put a lot of things into perspective, especially friendships. I have very close friends I did not tell because Adaeze is the strong person. And like, how was I going to tell you that I don't know if I was going to die? Like, I don't know. I wanted them to still maintain like what they think of me in their head. And I found out that another thing through this journey, you get to trust strangers. I was very grateful for that. And to all my friends that stood by me. My friend Jenny did her bridal shower in my hospital room because Jenny was my best friend. For her wedding, I couldn't attend because I was going through surgeries and she had to come to me. You know, we gathered there and basically just took a picture. So it was one of the lowest low. It was low for me mentally. Then to the clients that, I said I wasn't going to cry. I'm seriously trying. And to the clients that believed me, that still went ahead to allow us plan their dates. Wendy called me. I'm going to say this story because Wendy called, like she sent a mail when I was in Lagos. I was already ill. And I had told her like, I'm going for 3 weeks, I'm going to give you somebody. And she sent a mail like, why did I just leave her alone with somebody? She's planning her wedding and all of that. And I came back. I didn't know how to tell her that, you know, I'm not, sorry if I'm not looking at the lens, I'm trying not to cry. I didn't know how to tell her that I'm not feeling fine and my body is just shutting down. I didn't know how to tell her any of that. So when she registered her displeasure with the way things were going, like why would her event planner not be the one talking to her? I gave her a staff to work with. I had to tell her, I said, see, it's like I'll refund your money, because at this point I wanted to tell her what was going on, but what came out of my mouth was, you can send me your account number for a refund. And when I knew that me and Wendy were going to be close was the way her demeanor changed. She knew that, wait, for her to be asking to, it's something. She was like, no, don't worry, don't bother about it, I'm fine. I wasn't even available for her wedding. By that time, it had gotten very serious. One other of our mutual friends, Princess Osai, when we did Princess's wedding, Wendy attended and was like, where's Asi? And they said she can't make it, she's in the hospital. That was when I think a lot of my friends got to know that I was very ill, when I started disappearing from the planning scene and all of that. And I'm just very grateful to her for just, you know, keeping on. She had not heard, like other clients by that time, they had heard some part of the story, but Wendy had not heard. The moment she just saw, I don't know why she decided to go ahead, but at that point I was just like, what? I could have closed the business and it wouldn't mean anything to me, because I was that, how would I say, disconnected. I was disconnected from everything. Looking back, I'm just grateful. You know, looking back, I look back with gratitude. I look back knowing that, man, Asi, you're strong. Guys, I don't even want to explain that ND tube. Oh no. There are some things that the reason why I didn't want to go direct into what all those things were doing to me is because of, it was bad. Let's just say it was bad. But I'm strong. Fine. Everything is fine. Everything is fine. So thank you guys so much for listening. This is my story time. I've been on you people, and I know that one way or the other I was going to say it. So if you're not satisfied, please know that I tried. Like, I have tried. Any part that I knew that was going to just make me burst into tears, I just said it up. I didn't go in depth, just so that I don't make this a crying scene. It's a story of gratitude. So on my next video, I'm going to be talking about my delivery journey and all that good stuff. If you're not ready to subscribe, please make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye guys.